We are live. Welcome, Giants. My name is Joe Perrone, and this is the Freedom Hour on Wake Up with Giants Network. A reminder to subscribe to the Wake Up with Giants TV network, like us on Facebook, share with your friends, invite people in, because this is going to be a fun Freedom Hour. My name is Joe Perrone. I'm an entrepreneur and a strategist, and I help business owners, professionals, and just everyday folks design the life of their dreams. The show is designed to help you overcome the biggest roadblocks to your dream life. It will require you to examine life deeper, find those gifts that you were given at birth. You'll discover your strength, your clarity, and your purpose. You will discover freedom. Today on the show, I am so honored to have the great Jenn Walter. Jenn, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Hello.
Hello. And I asked Jenn to do something a little different from her bio. And I asked her to write it 5 years in the future. Since she is such a superhero and she can see into the future, I said, Jenn, write me your bio from the future. So I'm going to read it verbatim, right from Jenn's words. This is amazing. And I want everybody to listen. What an amazing 5 years it's been as the Minister of Culture for the Giants. The goal of impacting 100 million lives started small and has grown. With a connection to the creators of Love Your Melon, the tribe of giants has been able to donate over 1,100 books and Love Your Melon hats to children with pediatric cancer. Working with the production team, folks had the option on the website to buy one, give one as a book donation. As of last week, there have been over 1,500 books available for donation. With the power of the tribe behind Jenn, she was able to assist in creating a giant service day where over 10,000 hours have been given back to the community in various acts of service over the past 5 years. With such a wide connection of the tribe of giants and the book of being, donations from the various groups have funded coaching scholarships of the Giants' 12-step journey to those in need. As the tribe of giants in the book are spreading across the planet, Jenn was able to work her magic and create an amazing opportunity to be in the Oprah's 2027 gift basket and place the Giants and the Smalls book in there. Being such a kid herself, Jenn is dressed as a superhero at several Giant Kid Day events. Of course, with her trademark mask and cape, very few children knew it was her. The best time was when kids described their superhero. Without a costume, Jenn has spoken at top companies and numerous schools on being a giant. In fact, she did a TEDx talk on the superpower of being you, which she would tell you is being a giant. Speaking of kids, the Giants created the first kids being retreat. Jenn worked with the tribe of giants to create the best overnight camping experience. Personally, Jenn's second children's book was just published last month. She is collaborating with other children's tribe members on crazy and wild children's books. Not to mention, she has the draft of her first novel completed. She'll be celebrating her daughter graduating with top honors and a master's in architecture with a family trip to Europe for next month. When she comes back, there's a team meeting at Pixar and a trip to Disney World. Jenn, amazing accomplishments.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in 5 years.
There's a lot going on. So tell me, this is the Freedom Hour. So this is amazing. This feels amazing. This feels successful. This feels just aligned.
It does.
What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom means the ability to express yourself and do things without fear. And I think that's the great, American freedom is that we can do all these things and we can give back. Freedom is not being shackled. Freedom is either things in our minds, in our body. It's just being ourselves and just living our life the best we can, the happiest we can, with joy and humor.
And I just want in the comments, I just want to just spotlight these wonderful comments and put a like and a heart for Jenn. If you've experienced Jenn as this loving, caring, happy, smiling, joyful person that has freedom and confidence and it is just ready to just go on this mission of helping and serving others. And that's how I experience you, Jenn. So, and I know that's how the tribe experiences you, and that's how the world experiences you. So
Oh, thank
we
you.
go to the minister of culture for the tribe. Can you tell me more about what that dream was and how you approached Nick and Ryan to bring this to fruition?
Yeah, it was. I was in Arizona and super excited to see the Tribe of Giants. I hadn't seen a lot of the people before. On Friday, there's a video out of there of me like squawking and dancing when I finally saw Ryan, and he and I got to spend time in Steve's garden, and I got to hang out with Nick. And then at dinner, we went to Nadine's house, and we were all these giants together, and it felt so right. Some of us had never met before, but we were family. And it was just talking about things that we were going to do and how we were going to help others. And it just felt amazing. So on Sunday, when I was driving to the hotel, I said to my person in the car, friend, I was like, I want to be the minister of culture for the Giants. And he's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. And so I finally got the courage to ask Ryan. I said, I have a question for you. And he sat there after I told him and he thought about it. And he's like, yes, because I know you and I trust you. Yes, but we got to talk to Nick. So later that evening, before I was even able to say something to Nick, he said, yes, whatever it is, it's yes. And it was like the book coming to life. Here is this giant lifting me up. And it was really powerful. And we screamed and we said, I'm the minister of culture for the Giants. So
And tell us more about how that dream, since you took that step and since you took that initiative to say, I am the minister of culture for the Giants, I am that. What has changed? How has this dream developed? I love how this has developed for you.
How it's continue how I'm being is I do wear this shirt a lot more. I do a lot more laundry. I think I need more. But even like in the Mall of America, I'm there and I could see the what do you call it? The amphitheater, the rotunda. It's right by Barnes and Noble. How cool would that be? And these ideas, there's a movie theater upstairs. So I mean to tie into the idea of being a giant, and also the book, giving people the book and exploring that with others. I think that's a beautiful thing as well. There's also a confidence. I'm in Minnesota, so we have Paul Bunyan and we have the Jolly Green Giant. So we have some giants here and they're big guys. But it's nice to kind of bring a gal to the to the mix.
Yes.
So it's just being that person, Joe, and stepping into it and like, okay, there's a vision, there's ability to do all these things, and they're out there and they're scary, but they're possible. And that's what being a giant is, I think. Just going forward.
And as the minister of culture for this tribe, you're out there. You are that. You are wearing the shirt. You're giving out the books. You're holding that vision for the tribe. And in your bio, you know, with the power, to quote you, with the power of the tribe behind you, what are some of the things you envision this tribe doing to support this mission?
The tribe is an amazing group of people. I believe there's like over 4,000 in there, and everyone has a giving soul. Everyone wants to give back. Everyone's traveled a journey and they understand where people are and can support them. So the power of the tribe is not just one person. It's a collective of people that give energy to each other. So if someone has a good idea and someone says, I also agree with that, then all of a sudden there's that synergy and then it builds and the excitement and almost FOMO. I don't want to miss out having fun. I'm going to go do this, go read to kids. I'm going to So that's where the power of the tribe comes. And it's not just one voice, because there are so many different voices. I think that's the beautiful thing of the power of tribe, because not everyone's going to agree on everything, but there's going to be things that we do want to carry forward. And I think missions like I do Love Your Melon is close because it was started here in Minnesota. And they just had a beautiful mission of giving those hats to kids in hospitals. And I've donated those hats, and I've given hats like that to people I know that have cancer. So it's just giving back, because they truly are the giants. They're fighting a battle and they're going to win. So,
and as you build, as this mission builds and grows, this tribe grows and builds, and helps 100 million or better or more lives, and it will. Those things, reading to kids. What are some other things that people could be doing? Because there's people out there that want to help. People in the tribe, they want to help. They want to support this mission. They want to help grow the tribe. What are the things that you see that people can do right now, just right now, after this podcast is over, they're done seeing our smiling faces? What can they go do?
It's unlimited. They can do whatever. Something simple as going to a park and picking up trash. At least in the north, where the snow's melting, there's stuff everywhere. They can ask how they can go to their local community. Can they help their food shelf? Can they do simple things like that? Especially as the world is starting to open and come back, where can I step in? Where can I help someone who might not be able to do something? There's still a lot of call for Meals on Wheels, things like that. People who can drive, especially with gas getting expensive. How can I help someone who may be struggling that way? Your friends and your neighbors. And it's just reaching out and being that good neighbor. And it can start small. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to go clean up a ton of trash. I'm just going to walk down my street and clean it up and make it beautiful for my neighbors.
And wear the giant shirt as you're doing it. Wear that brand, wear that shirt as you're doing it, because I believe people will ask, what does it mean to be a giant? And as they're seeing someone in their community doing those little things that make the biggest difference, they're going to ask about what does it mean to be a giant?
It does. And on this version, it says, I have a huge ask. And so it's, mostly kids ask me what it is, because they're like, what are you saying on your shirt? And I think that's also a great way to have kids ask. If they see it, what are you doing? And you tell them the story of the giants. You tell them about helping others and lifting them up and having these big ideas, and it ripples. So yes, the shirts are lovely. I think it brands us. And people ask questions, and then they realize that they are a giant themselves. They may not, as Nick says, we're not a giant 100% of the time, but the majority of it we are. And it's part of the journey to continue to grow as the giant.
Well, Ryan, I know you're listening. You're a giant 100% of the time. And Jen, you're a giant 100% of the time. That's how I've experienced you. And can you take me back? So, this all came from a dream. This is who you are. This is who you be, right, Jen? And take us back. Where did this love for service and helping and giving, and where did this all come from? Please tell us.
I think the love of books comes from my grandmother, who was a children's librarian. So I've seen the power of stories, and I love the idea of, and in my life as an archaeologist, stories were so prevalent because that's how we passed on information, and that's how we survived. So the service comes from the idea of giving back. A lot of my family members are very generous with their time and giving back. And we always felt that sometimes if we can't give dollars, we can give hours. And so that's where my family is we see a need, we'll hop in. We call ourselves cheap labor. But and sometimes that's the biggest difference you can make, is helping somebody who may not have the ability, and just volunteer your time. So I think it started a lot with my daughter, volunteering at her school, doing things that she got excited about, and just reinforcing that and then living that.
Tell me more about the librarian. Tell me your grandmother. Tell me more about her.
Oh my gosh, there's a picture of me, I don't know, maybe a year and a half reading was it not Dr. Seuss, Mother Goose story. And I have the book upstairs. I still have it 50 some years later. But she would give books. I remember she gave me a children's encyclopedia, and it was like Netflix, HBO, Prime Video all rolled in one because we didn't have that. So just going through there and looking at the pictures and travel and stories, it was TV, but it was a book. And it just created this passion to read. I mean, there's times where I've lost that, but as a kid, I remember under the covers with the flashlight reading the book. And I think books are just a magical way to share ideas. And I remember my grandmother having us in the library at story time. We come down to see her. I still have probably about 10 books that she's given me through that I still have. And they mean a lot to me because they were a gift of learning and sharing and things that she loved.
And you learn that learning, that sharing, that giving, those were gifts given to you at a very young age that were tools. Tell me how you developed those tools throughout your life, because you didn't just get this way by accident, Jenn. You've developed this. You've done work on this. So for the people out there that are interested in more, and how what if that giving bone isn't in my way of being, and I don't know how to serve, and I don't know how to give. Go take us back to where you learn those through books, but then how you develop those.
Yeah, I'm sweating. I'm taking my glasses off. Another way of looking at it is, how do you want to be treated, and how do you want to feel? So another one without books is just compliments and acknowledgement. I have told the story. I was in the airport going through security, and this man smelled like fresh rain. And I told him that. The weirdest thing ever, but it was the best thing he had heard all day since he'd been traveling, that he smelled good. And it still sticks with me years later, just that compliment. Or seeing a woman in the bathroom, futzing with the dress and saying, you know what, you look gorgeous, you are hot. And the eyes light up and sparkle because it was an unexpected acknowledgement of their beauty and who they were being. And that's the simple thing you can do. And then saying thank you. Someone opens the door. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. How are you doing? And really mean that when you talk to people. I think that's definitely, I learned that from my family. You always say thank you. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
And it's the simple things that we forget sometimes that make the most difference. So, when you were as you were growing up and you were learning these things, who are your mentors? Who are the people that modeled this behavior for you, that you saw that in action and saw the value of doing that at such an early age?
I would say my parents, definitely. My grandfather was in the military, so there was a lot of traveling around, and obviously you had the military speak that my dad picked up. But also just seeing, well, actually through my grandfather, when he would come to visit, there were men that served with him on D-Day, and they still would call him sir. I mean, we're talking years later because of that one event. And I think that stuck with me, is that it's a sign of respect, that just to acknowledge people for events that they've done. So definitely my grandparents and my mom as well. She was in real estate. And so we had the phone, and if it rang a certain way, this is before we had, you had to answer it very politely and say she wasn't available and be polite. And I think that just stuck. That became ingrained, and you're just polite and pleasant to people. I don't know. I'm going to start laughing.
I love it. This will be known as the happiest podcast in town. Jenn, so as you're growing up, as you're going through, you mentioned you're archaeology background. Tell us how, that getting into that and how you're, that actual like archaeology, like digging and uncovering and, how have you been able to use that in being a minister of culture, being this joyous, happy, well-traveled, person that brings this joy wherever you go? Tell us more about that.
I would say what I really learned from archaeology is that we are all the same. We seek shelter. We seek to feed our children. We bury our dead. And if we go back to the simple things, we are all the same. And so holding that, and there's always, I think I've mentioned it before, I did a burial of a little girl, and the love and gifts that were given to her when she was buried it was profound. I can't imagine that parent going through that, but to see her, how much she was loved. It doesn't matter who you are. We love our children. So holding that and embodying that into this greater tribe, that we're just human. We all go to the bathroom. We all eat food. We all do the same things. And if we just strip down all this other garbage, we're the same. So treat each other with kindness.
Treat each other with kindness, but some of those garbage, some of those things, those pieces of garbage are the things that people hold on to that rob them of their freedom and rob them of their joy and peace and their happiness and that, that way of being. And it's that trash that they hold on to. So can you tell us more about some of that trash that you've had to eliminate, that you've seen others or helped others eliminate through your way of being?
I would say some of the trash personally I've held on to, and it still, you find it floating around, is the self-doubt and paranoia. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? My path doesn't seem to be as cool as somebody else. And in reality, my path, this is exactly where I need to be. It has led me to who I am now. And so also judgment. I've really leaned into the statement, no one is worthy of my judgment. Everyone is worthy of my love. It's been tested. I'm not going to lie, but if I can hold that truth and move forward in that, that has been really powerful for me. The other one is finding gratitude in complaining. And we all know we can all complain. And I've said it before, but it really is something simple like the rubber band, and you flick it when you don't want to do the dishes and you realize, wow, I have dishes. I have a house. I have a family I fed. I have a family who loves peanut butter and on those knives, but I'm guilty of that. But it's almost flipping the script and realizing it's not negative. And we have a choice. We can choose positive or we can choose negative. There we go. And that's the freedom to choose. And it won't always be easy, but we can do it.
We can do it. And freedom is options. Freedom is giving ourselves the options of, like you said, Jen, I can wake up and be angry at the world. I can do all this stuff. Or, Lori Parks, I get to wash those dishes. I get to be the minister of culture for the tribe of giants. I get to serve in an amazing group of human beings that understand that simplistic service and giving back and being a giant is so important and so valuable. So we read the bio and it's amazing. So some big asks are a call out to the tribe. And give me some more of those calls to action, service, giving, helping. How can we help the tribe? How can we help the tribe grow? What can we do on our platforms of our podcasts or social media or in our personal local networks? What are some of those other ideas that you've had as the minister of culture to be the people that grow this group and help Nick and Ryan and company help 100 million and serve 100 million people?
Well, I think the first thing is there's a lot on the Wake Up with Giants network. There's a lot of different shows and they're very different. So if you find one that you love or a host that you love, follow them and bring your friends and support them and, tag it on Facebook or YouTube or share snippets of it. I know one thing that's really, I had a friend and I kept tagging them and they're like, hold on. I'm like, okay, just go to minute X for that person so that they could see that. And I know some people don't like to put a lot on social media. So maybe just talk about what it is to be a giant. And that can just be as simple as we talked about, acts of service, being kind, moving forward. As the group grows, there could be events. Getting people locally together as the world is opening up. I'll say Arizona was amazing to go to people and go, oh my gosh, you're real. I can touch you. I can hug you. And I was like, I'm trying to touch you. I haven't hugged you yet. But that was a total shift in people's mindset. You've gone from the screen where you're talking like this to actually being like that. And these events, as they come back, really invigorate people. And they remind them that they're not so different. They're not alone. And so that's where I think we can encourage the tribe. I'm like, who's in your neighborhood? Who's in your area? Can you get together? I don't know formally. Maybe it starts just kind of as a grassroots. Hey, I'm going to be X, like what Nick does. And he says, I'm driving down the street and I'm going to the city and doing that. So just reaching out maybe to the community, bringing more people in. I know it's a hard ask for certain people and some people to say, come to this group. I want you to experience how amazing these people are. And if you don't want to do that, maybe some of us can help you do that. And I'm not sure exactly how that is, or we can invite them in and not necessarily from, their friend. So there's many ways. I really, it's an open plate. It's a buffet, and we haven't started loading stuff on yet. So we're all trying to figure it out.
So we're gonna dig into that because I know this is close to you. This is really what moves you to action, and I just admire the action that you've taken to this point. So, okay, I'm in the tribe of giants. I don't share. I don't post. I'm reluctant to invite people in, and I just I don't want my friends to know, right? Well, could you inspire us or motivate us to, some strategies to use to get other people in? You had mentioned sharing the episode with saying, hey, go to 1 minute and listen to this. Just listen to it for a second. Just listen to this little clip. I like those ideas. It's actionable. It's something that we can close the screen and do right as we leave here, or after this episode, you watched it, you could take that next step or that next action. So to those people that are reluctant to share or to post or to engage, what would you say to them, and how would you inspire them?
I would, as we're talking, is create maybe a post and tell me in one word or one sentence what you love about the network, what you love about the tribe. And so kind of compile that, and maybe with that information, there could be a meme. We've got some people that are really creative that they could post on their own page, or just for them to see all the words that are put to, what do you call it? Word cloud. I did a word cloud recently of all my judgments. And when I put it in a compass, damn, that thing was powerful. So maybe if we take all the words that people believe in the tribe or see as they experience it, it could create something that would motivate them. They would see something in the word cloud. So that's my new word cloud.
Yes. So our call to action is one word in the tribe of giants, one word of what the tribe of giants means to you.
Yep.
One word.
One word.
So everybody that's watching this, share that one word, and underneath it, per our minister of culture, I now proclaim. We will share that one word. And if people haven't watched the Freedom Hour, they can come to, about 30 minutes in the broadcast and explain to them what we're doing and what Jenn is doing and what her vision is. When do we want to put this all in a word cloud? When's the cutoff date? Because we're going to all post about putting that one word in. What's the cutoff date?
Let's give folks a week. So, yeah.
Tribe. Call to action to the tribe. You have 1 week. Post that one word in our tribe of giants. What does this tribe mean to you? And Jenn, our minister of culture, will compile those and make the word cloud for the tribe. And I believe that's brilliant. So one word. Okay. What's something else we could do? What's something simple? What's just something we could just do right away? I'm going to get 3 things out of you. We got 1. So what's the second one?
I think in their daily life, let them act as a giant, whatever that means to them, how it means to lift someone up, to remove limiting beliefs. So whatever it is today, or as soon as they see this, take an action. When you're outside talking to people, do that one thing. It could be kindness. It could be opening the door. It could be giving a compliment. Just lifting someone up. A total stranger would be even better. But even your family, just acknowledging them. And just put that forward, because what it does is it puts a little bit of energy, a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of momentum. And then all of a sudden you might find yourself, maybe another challenge is, can we do it every day for a week? So we'll start out with a day, and we keep going. And the more you build on just these simple things, the more it seeps in, and the more you just want to do it. And then we attract more of that.
Okay, so a clear call to action. We're going to put one word.
Yep.
And then we're going to do a 24-hour challenge. And Jenn, lay the smack down. What's the 24-hour challenge? What are we going to do in the next 24 hours and report back to the tribe?
In 24 hours, you are going to do one act of kindness or acknowledgement to a stranger. If you don't have strangers that you are, acknowledge a family member or a neighbor. And report back if you want. If you feel brave enough, put it there.
Report. And what does this look like in the real world? Give us some of those. What are the real world acts of kindness that we could do to be giants? And even if we're a little nervous or we're, scared to pay for that person behind us in line for their coffee, and I'm so resistant to it. What are some of those things we can do?
I think resistance really means it's something that you want to do. You're just afraid to put yourself forward, afraid to do that bold action. I'm trying to think what it could look like. It could look like buying coffee for somebody. It could be, I think this week when I was in the office yesterday, a woman, we held the elevators open for each other, but she was going to a different floor. It's actually COVID elevators. They only go to certain floors. But just being that person, or I think acknowledgement is the biggest thing, because as we're coming out in the world, we're seeing more people, and how nice it would be to someone say, lift you up. I don't know. I mean, I've heard a person say, wow, you have beautiful hair. Like if it's a little old lady with blue hair, it could be something like, wow, that is the coolest mask, because there are people that still wear masks. And it could be, wow, you just look really pretty today. And just I know it's weird to do it, and your heartbeat might be like, oh my gosh, this person's going to think I'm the weirdest thing and the weirdest person. But honestly, you don't know them. You have no idea what your simple act will mean to them. And that's where I think I get excited, because we don't know. We don't know.
I couldn't tell you were excited, Jenn. I couldn't tell. Not one bit. I couldn't tell you were excited.
Oh my God, I'm sweating, Joe. So I must be.
And tell me, because this is the most important thing. Tell the listeners, what are the feeling when you do that, when you release that fear, and when you do that thing, 24 hours, we're talking one thing. Jenn, this is something you live. This is who you be. This is how you wake up in the morning. This is just in your DNA, right? So the joy that you have, let's reverse engineer this. How you show up, right? Because your cheeks probably hurt going to right. So what does that help us? Help us archaeology. Let's dust off those things.
All right.
And, what are those feelings that we're getting from doing these uncomfortable things? From Lori with those ripples of kindness, what's happening to us?
So I think the first thing you're going to realize is you survived. You didn't die. You weren't struck down by lightning. There was nobody, with fingers or horns going, oh my God, you're weird. None of that happens. It's all in your head. So if you can do that, then all of a sudden you realize I can survive. And if you want to really phrase it differently, I'm a survivor. So then you're like, okay, whew. And you just keep moving forward and building on that. Another way too that just came because I'm in the basement is you have to laugh at things that make you want to cry. I mean, a sewer backup is nothing to laugh about. But when my basement was the X-Files experiment, all I could do was laugh. Because what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. They have to put the tent to contain the ick. So you just have to enjoy life and not let the little things. So as you're doing this, looking at your life and moving forward, it's those choices we talked about, Joe. It's something very simple that doesn't seem simple, but the question is, have you tried it? Have you really tried it? Because sometimes no, doesn't work. I'm like, did you really try it? Well, yeah, I did. And then you ask them again and they're like, well, I sort of tried. I'm like, don't sort of, just try. Like Yoda says, do or do not. So let's do this thing.
I just posted in the comment, have you really tried it? You're right. It's that, oh, I've done that before. That doesn't work. Well, how many times have you tried it?
Mm-hmm.
Have you tested it over your whole entire life and you could truly say that it doesn't work? No, it does work. And
it does work. Yeah.
I quoted you, Jenn. Have you really tried it? So, and what keeps you out of that victim mode where you could complain about that sewer backup? You could complain about that thing that didn't go right for you. But what keeps you out of victim mode?
I don't like living there. I've been there. I don't like it. I also believe that when you focus on that, so then you're only looking for those things that are going to make you cranky or grumpy or upset. And if you start looking the other way, then you find beauty in a sewer backup. You find these beautiful gems and lessons. So I lost my track of thought, but, so how do I
victim mode? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess maybe because today I did watch Fiona and Laban talk. And one thing he talked about when I said, my thing is I'm the world's best cheer and joy champion. And he was talking about himself, and it's because it's the opposite. So I help people alleviate that self-doubt and unhappiness they have. And so that was where I was. And I've chosen not to be that. And people might say, no, you're always happy. Well, not always, but it's a choice and it moves forward. And I'm like, I don't like it. I don't want to be there. I want to be here.
that way of being a victim, that resonated not good for you. That how did that show up for you when you were in that way of being? Was it was the opposite of freedom? So tell us more about
it. It was freedom. It was very much sadness and not loving yourself and not accepting yourself. One of the things is I'm a little bigger in my temple than I was a while ago. But when I was in Arizona, I was like, this is who I am. There's nothing I can do. If I see pictures and I'm like, holy fuck, it's Batman, I'm like, psh, I just got to go and accept and love who I am. And that's a hard thing for, I think, women to do sometimes, is like, wow, there's more of me to love. But just to embrace that. And the old Jenn might have been like, oh my gosh, and like trying to delete pictures. Like, prime example is that running gallop to Ryan. Oh my God, what is that?
That's you. That's who you be.
That's me. And that's 110%. And when you go as you, there's so much freedom because you don't see all these things. You're not looking for someone to point at you or laugh at you or sneer or hold that imaginary, oh my God, he's crazy. You don't see it because you're just so aligned with who you are. So there's freedom in that. And that's what I think is the greatest gift to give other people, is just to like love themselves. If they want to change, they can change, but love who they are now, right here. Because
they are all giants. And you just said something brilliant, as this whole time has been so far, but that when we stop judging other people and we free them from our judgment, where they know that we love them unconditionally and we love however they show up, if that's who they are, and we love who they be, and they're in our lives. So as you've embraced Jenn, just Jenn beingness and Jenn's awesomeness and the joy, it spread. It spread like wildfire. So how have you taken releasing that judgment, releasing expectations from other people, and giving them freedom and being that? Tell us more about how has that taken everything and like created, you have this superpower?
I think there's people I know, and it's like you remove that. If you want to call it a snow globe and you can see in the globe, or an onion like Shrek. I love movie references. Ogres are like onions. They have many layers, but if you can get down to that core, and then you just see it. And then once you see it in someone, you're like, that is just amazing. And there's people, I mean, we in the tribe are doing that to each other. I think just not out of, it's because we see the greatness in everyone. We see the brilliance in the giants. And so we are bringing that out and spotlighting it. And once you haven't seen it, because I've asked you, I'm like, wow, how do you know what gifts you were given? I was like, I don't know. I don't have my red sign saying it's here, it's here. But when you get that acknowledgement and you get that ding, 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 oh, that's me. That's how they experience me. Then you start looking at it, and then it starts to feel good. It's like a superhero. At first that suit doesn't feel very good. Then all of a sudden you're like, dang, I am Batman, and I am.
When we booked this show, I said this will be the most fun any of us has all day, and I've had,
oh my God, my cheeks are starting to hurt now.
An intense amount of fun, and we all learn through this process of being who we are and showing up to the world, saying, here I am, here were the gifts that I was given at birth. Here's me. This is what I am. And it's not a take it or leave it. It's just this is who I am. And we're unapologetic about it. And we serve others. We're bold, we're brave, and that is freedom. Mm-hmm. The freedom to be who you are, what you are, in the space that you're in. And that's just the core and essence of what this show is about, and what we have to talk about. So I want to get to some of these amazing things that have happened in 2027. So the Giants in the Smalls book is going to be in Oprah's gift basket. Tell us more about that.
Oh my God. Well, it was a connection. Yeah, it is amazing. It was a connection through the tribe that knew someone. and just talking with them and then telling them the story about the giants. And actually, they just read the book. They loved it. And they're like, I got to get this in Oprah's hand. And it was just the way of being. It wasn't like, oh my God, put this in her basket. It was more letting the book and the tribe speak for what the message is. And that was amazing. And Oprah even like did one of these in the basket. It was super cool. She loved it. We got a thank you card. Don't tell Nick it came to me.
And it all came from service, not sales, service.
Service. She was so impressed by the fact that this tribe would donate books to children in pediatric hospitals to give hours back to the community. It wasn't just lip service. It was an actual way of being. And she had not seen that in other children's books. I mean, Harry Potter, but it's a difference. This was true service and being. And she was very grateful. And it was aligned with her Oprah network. So it was pretty cool. It was an awesome day.
From one act, the simplest thing, an introduction, a meeting, a book, a gift, a smile, a compliment, a recommendation to a podcast, a recommendation to a network, one word in a Facebook group, a word cloud. All these things matter, and they matter to this tribe. I know they matter to you, Jenn. And you talked about giving books to children, and that is obviously aligns with gifts that you were given at birth, which was reading, which was the love of reading, which was that comfort that you felt with family time and learning and education. And how do you envision, as the Minister of Culture, the books playing this vital role in building, supporting, and bringing more people into this tribe?
Well, one of the initiatives we also did with some of the donations is that we were able to, with the 1,500 books we got, 400 of them are going to libraries in areas that don't have a very active library. So then we're giving that book to children to read and letting them in their schools do that. And again, it's the ripple of kindness. It's the ripple of that book being available to them. And we know the power of children. We know how when they have an idea and they start being something, it ripples, and then their friends are doing it. And it's so that donation that the tribe gave for those books are in hands of children who are the future giants, that are being giants. And that is freaking cool. And that's all because of you guys. So thank you.
So that's our third call to action is, where will we go to donate a book? Where we gather these books to get to these places that need them the most, because we love kids. They are our future. We want to create the experiences that Jenn had with reading and learning and that feeling that she got, but we also want to get that act of service, that giving, that giving machine going to help 100 million people.
Yeah.
And they're young, they're old, they're all of us.
Exactly. And there is old. I mean, one of the things that was beautiful is that there was scholarships to the journey of the 12 steps of the journey program, our Giants program. So there are people that are not able to, in maybe halfway houses. There's been about 100 different scholarships that Nick has taken these people through the journey and helped them turn their lives around. And again, then they create ripples and they become the greatest supporter of a giant because they are a giant. And they're living it.
So a brave and bold ask from me to you, Jenn, is there's over 4,000 people in the tribe of giants, and they know at least 10 givers. So that puts us, we have a lot of people. Your 1,100 books should be a simple ask. If one of every 4 people that's just in the tribe donated one book, one of every 4, 25% of this group donates a book. And Jenn will put that book in the most capable hands that will use that book to learn, to grow, to develop, to become that giant, to learn more about how they can become a giant. And now that ripple spreads.
Yeah. That's going to make me cry. That's so beautiful. Yeah.
So, one word, one day of 24 hours of a simple act of kindness, and one book. One. That's all you need. One. So I'm putting the call out to our tribe, and let's Ryan Morris, we got to up that donation amount, but let's get 1,100 books. Let's get this tribe. This is a call to action. These books need to be in the hands of the people where they make the most difference. And one of every 4 members of this tribe that has gotten, come to the well for this support and this love and this time that the giants have given this beautiful network to give. They've given and served this community. And Jenn is the Minister of Culture. You're steering this portion of it, and you have this big dream, and it's a reality. And I know it's a reality. So, I'm gonna pledge 10 books as the host of the show. So Jenn, make it simple. Just make a simple button where we can click and donate. And I am going to come on the Freedom Hour next week with a report that we've made our quota. And I know that's going to happen, and it's already happened because we've already donated those books. All right.
That's amazing. Yes.
So make it easy. Make it so that it's just the simplest act. Make it the simplest act we could do this week is to donate that one book, because it matters, and it's going to help. It's going to help us get to that goal that Nick and Ryan laid out for 100 million people, which is going to be amazing, and it's awesome. So, Jenn, any takeaways from our show today? What are some takeaways?
To let people know, I was a little nervous coming in because I didn't know where it was going to go, but it feels really, I'm in tears. I've laughed. I just love the Giants Network. I love the tribe, and I love how we support each other. And so that's what's really magical in the world. And so that's awesome. And the takeaway is simple, like 3 things. And even if it's just the word, that's a big step for people to post. And I acknowledge them that you took that step. Amazing. And if you can do the next step, an act of kindness, it snowballs. And then you get excited. And you just like a light switch flicks, and you're just like, woohoo! You're cooking with gas.
So Jenn, I'm gonna ask you to take action and remind us about our one word. Remind us about our one act in the next 24 hours. Remind us about those donated books. Create a lot around that. Remind us, and let's all get that feeling of what it's like to contribute, to give back to this important mission that our Minister of Culture has laid the smacketh down. And you're going to take action, Jenn, and we're going to take action. And next week on the Freedom Hour, I know that we're going to have a great report of what this has been and what an amazing week this has been. And you'll update us in the group, and we'll have all eyes on it. So calls to action, a call to action that I have this week is to make sure you're subscribed to the Wake Up with Giants Network. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you have it on Facebook. Make sure you contribute. Make sure you do the things that Jenn has asked us, these simple and easy things. Jenn's smiling. She's radiating her positive energy. If you're not radiating positive energy or smiling, you could do one of the 3 things, if not all 3 things, that Jenn has asked as this Minister of Culture. And who better to have as the Minister of Culture in this group than the smiling, happy, positive, energetic, and driven Jenn Walter. So Jenn Walter, it's been an honor, privilege, and I look forward to more of this.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much. Again, it's the power of the tribe.
Power of the tribe. Tribe, we'll see you next week. Be well.